Hi everyone, and welcome to this video, why creating more diverse and accepting workplaces can simultaneously solve the growing mental health crisis that leads to absenteeism, disengagement and low productivity. Just like me, many of you may have experienced life-altering injuries that tend to create long-term trauma that we carry with us for the rest of our lives. If someone could measure the mental, emotional, physical, family and work effect and cost to business of our traumas, it will run in trillions of pounds. I know it cost me millions while I was living with pain and allowing myself to be a victim of the past traumas. 7 years ago, when I felt I was at the verge of attempting suicide, astonishingly, my path crossed with Tony Selimi, a globally known transformational life and business coach specialising in human behaviour, emotional intelligence and the psychology of creating a healing mindset and maximising human potential. From the very same session, I knew that he will help me heal and change my life for better and forever. And it is the ongoing work that I committed to do that got me this moment, sharing this video with you. When these events occur in our lives, many of us give into the one-sided false narrative of such traumatic events that we believe to be true. That creates conditions such as PTSD, OCD, ADHD and other mental health issues, just as it did for me. And often when such trauma and injury occurs, it can leave us with feelings of resentment, anger, regret, blame and loss. We may even develop a victim mindset based around the circumstances. Reason for my knowing this is because all of this happened to me too. In 1997, I lost 80% of the vision in my left eye when I was involved in a violent incident between Falkirk and Celtic casuals at a Scottish Cup semi-final in Glasgow. And for the next 20 years of my life, this incident greatly pained me and dominated my thinking at times, until it was the subject of many of my breakthrough coaching sessions with Tony. Tony uses his scientific-based methods to help me get to the root cause of why I resented the person who injured me and what made me resent myself for being involved, for being there that day. Was it because I regretted going to that football match, or was it because I'd lost the majority of my vision in my left eye? Or because all of what happened left me living with a victim mindset? What Tony did with me and does with so many of his clients is to take you through a process that awakens you to see the magnificence of any events and how you can use them to grow, transform and build your confidence, resilience and mental faculties that can help you to heal. He transformed the way I was thinking about my blindness. In doing so, I went from being a victim to these circumstances to being grateful. Was it difficult? Yes, it was. Was it worth investing in doing this inside-out healing work? Absolutely. At times he would challenge me to the core, and my entire being would resist, but it was his professionalism and holistic approach that helped me to heal so many wounds, even though they'd occurred 20 years previously. Many people ask me, why Tony? Why not other coaches, therapists, etc.? Because he has spent 30 years in study, research and uses a blend of science and spiritual practices to awaken in you the God-given intelligence that is capable to heal you inside out. That on its own is priceless, not to mention his business and leadership building coaching that has helped me grow my career and all the managerial skills I now use. He's also one of the best listeners out there, and I don't mean just any listening. He will pick up on any words in your spoken language that is of the service to you. For instance, no one in 20 years picked up how all I've focused when I was speaking on past events was what I'd lost. My response to his questions and directness was, yes, I've lost my eyesight, to which Tony would focus me on answering, what did I gain? How does my blindness benefit me? Another benefit of having him as your coach is that he relentlessly will question you until you can answer and awaken the wholeness in you. This is particularly difficult to do on your own. I've tried it many times, but when you sit in Tony's coaching chair, well, your mind has no room to play tricks on you. His methods and questioning technique are so powerful that it makes you face your worst fears, judgments and pains with love. For instance, Tony would ask me, "Paul, did you become more adaptable because of your blindness? And do you also pay massive attention to detail because you focus on everything through your right eye?" My answer was yes. "Well, Paul, wouldn't you agree that these are benefits to your blindness?" Immediately again my answer was yes, and immediately too I felt less of a victim to my blindness circumstance. At the end of each session, Tony helps you create custom-made exercises that you can use to keep growing, healing and transforming. Normally many of us are used not to do them, but at the next session, he will make sure you complete them. This kind of accountability, focus and ongoing mindset transformation is what helped me create all I have today, and it can help you in awakening your greatness, healing, transforming and growing into your fullest potential. Something Tony shares in all of his books I highly recommend to read: A Path to Wisdom, #Loneliness, The Unfakeable Code and A Path to Excellence. His work and principles he shares in all of the mentioned books is transformational. His coaching spans in areas of personal life, relationship, business, career, leadership and wealth building. I was working in permit to work systems for my employer, and part of my role also involved me creating RAMs, risk assessments and method statements, for each task that required a permit that my colleagues were going to undertake. And what Tony's coaching helped me notice was that because of the high attention to detail I pay and how meticulous my focusing on everything through my right eye had made me was this: because of my extreme focus, it meant I built more detailed and accurate RAMs that were to a high standard of safety. But these workplace benefits were as equally for others as it was for me. For my colleagues, because I risk assessed the tasks they would be undertaking so accurately and safely, thanks to my blindness, for them it meant they would work with greater peace of mind, would be less likely to have an accident, would go home safe to their families and be able to spend quality time with them. And because they were having no accidents, they would be consistently earning more income. And although this was the first time I'd seen the benefits of my blindness for others, it didn't end there. You know, for many of the companies I worked for, because of my blindness, Tony helped me realise that I was helping to keep their staff safe in what can be highly volatile environments. So they benefited through having a good or increased safety record, which in turn increased the chance of them winning new contracts or renewing existing ones. And it also enabled them to maintain and build further on their reputation, whilst being seen as a company who can be trusted because of their good safety record. One of the petrochemical sites I was working on at the time, which was situated within my hometown, because of my contribution and attention to details, there was no accidents or major incidents, which could have meant the residents of the town having to stay indoors, as had been the case in the past. Well, partly thanks to the accuracy and safety of the RAMs I'd built, the lives of the townspeople carried on as normal too, meaning they could go to work, earn incomes, the children could go to school without disruption and be educated, and others could enjoy normal, everyday things that we mostly take for granted, such as meeting friends socially. the more and more benefits Tony helped me write for myself and others of my blindness, the more and more I questioned the label of disability that I and others considered me to be. By the end, after each session and writing hundreds more benefits, I didn't consider myself to be disabled at all. And perhaps when you start your coaching journey with Tony, neither will you. If you have feelings of resentment, anger, regret, blame, that like me you carried with you for decades, then starting your coaching journey with Tony will assist you in dissolving them. With time, they will vanish, and for the first time in decades you too will feel calm and at peace with any trauma or pains of the past. Coaching and healing journey with Tony has benefited me in ways that I would never have imagined. Some of my family, friends, colleagues and employers have seen firsthand my transformation. It increased my abilities to handle situations better and use my intelligence for creating what I want in life. Societies, employers and individuals from all professions would benefit from Tony's coaching and training work, so that we change the narrative around perceived disabilities, flaws and abilities. Companies who hired Tony that I had the pleasure to witness firsthand, their employees no longer suffer from lack of focus, burnout, stress and presenteeism. Their employees no longer sit at their desk going through the past in their mind, wasting a lot of time, wishing that they'd never experienced something, regretting and listening to the noise in their minds that distracts them from the task at hand. Tony helped with successfully addressing this biased way of thinking to more of an objective and mindful way that supports them not just at work but also in their everyday. And that many of the people I met said it was priceless value their employers gave them to be able to be coached by Tony. I trust you got much inspiration and value from this video. For those of you who want to create a personal, relationship, career, business, leadership, team and financial breakthroughs as your coaching partner, Tony's breakthrough coaching, consultation or a full day business strategy session are designed to experience breakthroughs that will elevate your life and business. To book, do email his team info@tonyselimi.com and let's see how working together he will help you find exactly the root cause of your blocks and effectively and efficiently create the mindset and the plan on accelerating your journey to abundance, excellence, growth, influence, success, wealth, fulfillment and inspiration.